Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I, Simran Jashnani from MBA 2022 batch, on behalf of IIM Sambalpur, heartily welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of the first batch of Executive MBA program of our institute. It is indeed my proud privilege to welcome our esteemed guests, Mr. Rajeev Dubey, Mr. Sandeep Tyagi, Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, faculty members, staff members, and dear participants to the event. To mark the commencement of the event, let us invoke the blessings of Almighty by lighting a lamp. May I now request Director Professor Mahadev Jaiswal. May I now request Director IIM Sambalpur, Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, Professor Shikha Bhardwaj, Professor Merlin Nandi, Professor Dipti Ranjan Mahapatra, Professor Sakhi Chabra to come forward for lighting of the ceremonial lamp.
या कुंदेन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्र वस्त्रावृता या वीणा वरदण्ड मंडितकर या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर प्रभृतिवी देवै सदा वंदिता तामा पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेष जाड्यापहा.
Thank you, Vaibhavi. To start with, may I now request Professor Shikha Bhardwaj, Chairperson, Executive MBA, for a brief introduction of the program.
Thank you, Simran. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Rajeev Dubey, Mr. Sandeep Tyagi, Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, faculty, staff, media representatives, industry guests, first-year students, second-year students, PhD scholars, and participants of Executive MBA program. I welcome you all. It was just another day in the month of October 2020 that we started discussing about Executive MBA program. Multiple rounds of iterations, discussions, feedback. Finally, we came out with the plan, design, and launch. And today we are here on the inauguration day of first batch with 54 participants of 21-23. My heartiest congratulations to each one of you who took leap of faith, life-changing decisions rather. Welcome on board. While we were planning the program, the entire journey of ideation till launch, trust me, there was a constant belief and confidence that we will do well. It's not a hypothetical statement. It is on the basis of certain environmental factors which were actually supporting us continuously. Namely, 3 of them. First, our strong belief system and an aspiration to always make sure that we accomplish IIM Sambalpur vision. Second, supportive ecosystem with a strong academic fraternity, prompt industry response, and responsive government support. Last but not the least, our intent to contribute as much as possible to different or large segment of society with different offerings. The program design was a rigorous process of identifying current business needs, collecting feedback from the people who are position holders, from the people who are at different positions, stakeholders, mapping our resources, and then coming out with the best model fit for working professionals. Before I elaborate more about the program, let me draw your attention to the demographic profile of first batch. We have total 54 participants with 9 female and 45 male participation, average work experience of 9.7 years, with almost 23 participants from 4 to 6 years of experience, 13 participants from 7 to 10 years of experience, 8 participants from 11 to 14, and 10 participants from 15 and above, a very rich pool. The participants are coming from diverse industries, mainly from IT and IT-enabled industry. Approximately 39% of the participants are coming from that industry. To give you a few examples, companies like TCS, Deloitte, IBM, and Amazon. Manufacturing, 31% of our participants are coming from that segment. And the main, namely the few examples are Tata Steel, JK Cement, L&T. Banking and finance, 15% out of that, which includes SBI, ICICI Bank, and Axis Bank. Others include industry, few participants from transport and telecom industry, 6% from pharmaceutical, and 2% from Government of India. It is noteworthy that we have got 2 participants who are NRI participants from Germany. One entrepreneur, he's from IT establishment. I mean, he has a 3 decades of established seasoned entrepreneur into IT segment. One government employee from the Ministry of External Affairs. These participants are ranging from mid-level positions to senior positions, right from managing partner to senior vice president, onboarding specialist, data analyst, consultants, director GTM, to name a few. The uniqueness of the program, we stand on 3 pillars. And the uniqueness of the program is, it is a 2-year degree program for working professionals. We offer specialization in all functional areas with a special emphasis on digital transformation and people orientation. Cutting edge curriculum to build responsible leaders with entrepreneurial mindset. Let me not forget to mention that the innovative pedagogical tools like Flipped Classroom, case studies, project-based experiential learning, simulation offered in blended mode will be an added on. By the end of these 2 years of program, we definitely expect that our participants develop an entrepreneur skills to adapt in ever-changing environment, be able to integrate the innovative ideas which they gather in the cohorts, into immersion programs, into multiple discussions which happen in the classes, and integrate it to solve the business problems, acquire deeper understanding of managing people and digital transformation, and take a bigger view of the overall picture, what happens in the organization, and take the decisions further. In the end, I wish all the participants good luck. In fact, frankly speaking, throughout this journey, I happened to talk most of you at different junctions of admission. Before the application, after the application, before the test, after the test, results declared, shortlisting at different point of time. But one thing was constant, that each one of you had a feeling of nervousness and excitement. Now, let me assure you over here, the program is definitely a cycle of unlearn, learn, and relearn. But it is going to add lifelong experiences. So fasten your seatbelts, reboot, restart, welcome on board. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. As said by G.K. Chesterton, I quote, "Education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another," unquote. It is my honor to introduce our director, Professor Mahadev Jaiswal. He is the founding director of Indian Institute of Management, Sambalpur. Prior to this, he was professor in information systems and dean research at MDI Gurgaon. His qualifications include PGPX from MIT, USA, PhD in computer science from Delhi University, and senior Fulbright fellow from Carnegie Mellon University, USA. Recently, he has also been conferred an honorary degree of Doctor of Science by Sangam University. His area of expertise includes innovation strategy, digital innovation, social entrepreneurship, ERP, and IT strategy. He has published more than 100 research papers and cases in international journals and is the author of 7 books in information systems and digital strategy. He has pioneered in introducing flipped classrooms as learning pedagogy in India. May I now request Professor Mahadev Jaiswal for a welcome address.
Thank you. A very good afternoon, everyone. Chief guest, Rajeev Dubey, Chairman, Mahindra First Choice Wheel Limited. Our keynote speaker, Mr. Sandeep Tyagi, Director, Human Resource, Samsung. My colleague, Professor Shikha Bhardwaj, Chair of Executive MBA Program. My another colleague, Professor Marlin Nandi, Chair of MBA Program. All my faculty and staff colleagues of IIM Sambalpur. Distinguished guests, members from media. My dear participants of Executive MBA, MBA students, alums of IIM Sambalpur, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a big day for all of us, and particularly for IIM Sambalpur, because IIM Sambalpur has again pioneered and created a record among the entire IIM systems that the first batch of our Executive MBA for working professional has the highest number of registration ever since by all IIMs. On behalf of IIM Sambalpur, I extend a very warm and hearty welcome on this very special occasion on the inauguration of first batch Executive MBA program of IIM Sambalpur. Is explained and given the detail about Executive MBA class 2021 and 21-23 rather, with 54 participants, is a vibrant combination of executives in terms of diversity in their profile, industry, academia, gender, and experience ranging from 4 to 15 to 20 years. This is going to be a very enjoyable journey and unique experience for faculty as well as for all the Executive MBA participants. Let me talk about a little bit about IIM Sambalpur. IIM Sambalpur was set up in 2015 by Government of India and is currently operating out of a temporary campus at Sambalpur University. And this area is also known as Bulla Education Farm, where we have 2 more universities, medical and engineering, and many other universities are also coming surrounding to our permanent campus. Sambalpur is famous for Sambalpur textile. And this Sambalpur textile, IIM Sambalpur and Flipkart partnership is going to make it global in terms of its marketing reach, which we have announced last week. Sambalpur is also famous, world famous Hirakud Dam. And above and last, we have the blessing of Ma Samleswari temple, which bless all of us for the florists, for all our well wishes and florists. The nearest airport, Jharsuguda, is about an hour, and which is the highest industrial town of the Odisha. The development of our permanent campus is in the full process, as the foundation stone of the same was laid down by our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji on 2nd January 2021. And as for our plan, our permanent campus is expected to be ready by August 2022. In a very short span of 6 years, IIM Sambalpur has become fully integrated business school, as it runs 6 and 7 batch of batch of MBA, 3 batch of PhD programs, 2 batch of executive PhD program. 6 startups are being incubated in our incubation center, and now we have the first batch of executive MBA for working professionals. Generally, it takes 15 to 20 years for any management institute to accomplish what we have accomplished in 6 years. Let me now talk about our core values and vision. IIM Sambalpur, we strongly believe on 3 core values: innovation, integrity, and inclusiveness. It is all in Hindi or Sanskrit. No sarjanam suchita samavestam. Now the people ask, where does it come from? And let me answer. We have read all the ancient books, and finally we derived it from our Hindu mythology. As for Hindu mythology, we have 3 main gods: Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Innovation we have derived from Brahma. Brahma is the creation, innovator. Innovation is symbol of Brahma. Integrity is a symbol of Lord Vishnu, because Vishnu makes life ethical, enabler. So integrity concept we have brought from Lord Vishnu. And inclusiveness, the god Shiva. Lord Shiva is a god of inclusiveness. You will find all caste, religions, and animals are part of Shiva. So it's called inclusive God. If we all profess these 3 qualities of human being, I'm sure we all will become highly civilized and transformed personality, and we'll be able to create value and impact for ourselves as well as the surrounding society and civilization. We strongly believe that these 3 I principles should be inculcated as part of our culture, as part of our education delivery, and we all, once we be part of these systems, should acquire these 3 I. In extension to this, we also created a vision. The vision of IIM Sambalpur is to nurture responsible leaders with entrepreneurial mindsets. Now, what does it mean? Responsible leaders means the leader, the manager should not be only looking for himself. He must look for everybody together. That's called responsibility. Everybody means every section of society should flourish. Every section of planet should exist. We should take care of environment. We should take care of surroundings, forests, animals, everyone. Entrepreneurial mindset means for every problem, we must look for entrepreneurial solutions. And when right now we are all witnessing COVID demonstrations or COVID pandemic, people are worried that what will happen to my job, what will happen to my industry, what will happen to my institutions. I am a great believer that it's a great opportunity for all of us. We must create the new world. The world what we have created in the last 34 years is not going to survive for long. We need to create clean environment. We need to create inclusive society. We need to create society which runs on ethics and value systems. And therefore, I think it's a great opportunity for all of us that whole world is now getting equalized. There's no difference of city and village because everybody is part of digital ecosystems. Everybody is part of the same civilization. Therefore, I think it's a great opportunity for management graduates to create a sustainable society. And role of IIM Sambalpur is not only to provide education, but to build entrepreneurial capacity for the country, which can create wealth and make our country again the top. Our unique proposition is nurture large number of startups and entrepreneurs across country. We don't want to just be part of multinational ecosystems. We want to create jobs at every village, every city, and every towns. Hence, we encourage our young MBA aspirants and participants for those who are part of the institute to align themselves with our vision and participate in executing the same. We desire you all to acquire and capabilities to create wealth in organizations for yourself as well. Now, as part of our inclusiveness, you must be happy to know that IIM Sambalpur has always been part of a very high inclusive agenda, and gender inclusiveness was the first agenda which we created. Is more than 49% of our class in 2019 were from the female candidates, and continuously we're more than 42-45% across the last 3 years. As an outcome of this, every IIMs have now started following this kind of inclusive policy, gender policy. Another evidence is that we have encouraged to work for the inclusive business, and you'll be happy to know that IIM Sambalpur is the first IIM which is pioneered in about to sign MOU with Flipkart to promote the local business of weavers, farmers, and handicraft workers. Now let me talk about the 3 emerging issues in business school, which we are going to pioneer again, and we call it new methods, that is around 3M. The new method, new model, and new mode of education delivery. What is new method? The new method is not going to be classroom discussion alone. The new method is going to be experiential and blended learning, which is called Flipped Classroom. And what is Flipped Classroom? Because many participants will be curious to know about it. As you must be knowing, as for the Bloom taxonomy, there are 6 layers of learning. Starting, the first layer of learning in any education is under information, that you learn from the book and gather the informations, facts and figures. Most of the education is delivered around information. The second stage, the second layer is about understanding, that you understand that not only information gathered, but also understand. The third layer is about application of that understanding. Now, let me ask you a question, that if after completing your MBA, either full-time or working professionals, are you able to, after going through accounting course, can you generate balance sheet of any company? That's the applications. And I have actually did some research and found that 99% people say no. After going through the course on economics, I asked them, can you allocate resource and check the price and cost for the product which you have launched? Again, answer is doubtful. Now I ask, after going through strategy programs or strategy course, if I ask you that, can you build a strategy for our organizations? What should be the long-term strategy, short-term strategy? And they say, no, we need to hire a consultant. After going through the digital course, IT course, can you tell me that what is going to happen in terms of blockchain technology, which is going to disrupt cryptocurrencies? The answer is again doubtful. So my deliberation is that let us bring this concept that at least we should learn applications. We should not be just focused on information and understanding of the subject. The moment we focus on applications of the knowledge, the entire system will undergo change. Right now, many people are struggling in online delivery of education and online conducting of exams. People are saying, oh, people are able to copy from the book. So it is the faulty systems. My question and my deliberation is that it is our fault in our examination systems. Why are you asking questions about what is already known in the book? Let him answer the application of that and let him make a presentations online so that you can again question and see whether he has really understood and able to explain. So that is the pedagogical change in terms of online exams we'll have to undergo. So that is what is all about the flipped classroom. In fact, one of the class I was sitting at MIT, and one of the professor, well-known professor called Michael Porter, he was teaching strategy in that class. And the article which he has given, his own article, the article title was, "What is strategy?" And in that article, there was one paragraph which says, which clearly state that Japanese and Chinese company don't have a strategy. And some of the Indian students who were participating in that program questioned Michael Porter, saying that how can you say that these two countries are world leader in terms of business, and you are saying they don't have a strategy? And then his answer was, they are talking about business without strategy. They are just selling the cost competitiveness, their engineering skill. They don't have a strategy. And then he also made a statement, Michael Porter, that many Indian CEOs don't even know what is strategy. That's why he said, I have written this article. And if you really see that in Indian situations, we are morely focused on sales, distribution, and operations. We hardly have a strategy. I think that is very, very important. And in order to understand strategy, the most talk about theory is called resource-based view, RBV. Now, that is very, very well-known theory. And many of us practice that once we have high resource, high finance, big company, I can generate more wealth and more value. But what about the new change? Ola Cab, your OIO, your Paytm, they had no resource. Then how come they're generating high resource, high value? This is called new theory called innovation theory, where with ordinary resource, with new ideas, you can generate high value. The same concept IIM Sambalpur is also following that. Maybe you are located in a small town, but if your idea is very innovative, you can generate higher value than any other institution in the world. So that is what is the new change in terms of your new method. Now, what is new model of delivery of education? The new model of delivery of education is going to be platform, not the blackboard. Just see in our class, we have all removed the blackboard. It is only the platforms. Either digital board is there, there's a learning management system there, there's an online processing system. It's all of boards, digital board. And that is called platform. Every business, including education, health, everything, media is stepping to platforms. And therefore, we must be geared to adopt this new model of education that is called platform education. And what is going to be the new mode of education? It's going to be blended. It's not going to be just see. We are all blended right now here. Many of you are online, many of you are physical here. This is called blended, and still we are able to conduct the same thing what we used to do here, and much bigger scale and much lower cost. So these are the new 3 M's, new method, new model, and new mode of delivery of education. That is where shifting in. IIM Sambalpur has already adopted all these 3. I'm sure this is going to be the future for every education, not only business education, but also school and college engineering educations. Now, let me talk about the disruption in the industry, because we are a business school and we must talk about industry. What kind of change in the industry is happening, and why global pandemic is how it is impacting the economy. I could visualize, being a management scholar, that whole industry is going to shift around 3D, the disruption around 3D. The first D is about digitalizations. Every business is going to digital transformations, whether health, whether education, whether media, whether sales market. Sales and market is completely e-commerce and digital marketing. It is complete, the entire banking system from branch banking to complete anywhere banking today is completely digital. We don't know where is the bank now. Everything is done sitting on the mobile. The entire transportation service industries have gone to the cab aggregators business, that is Ola Cab. You don't need car now. You can drive. You don't need to drive. You can transport yourself from anywhere. Ohio has completely transformed the entire housing sector. So these kind of changes are driving every industry. If you see any industry, service or manufacturing or even IT industry is also undergoing change. Now let's see how Indian IT industry has done well. Indian IT industry was not created by Indian IT giants. It was created by Americans and Europeans because they were creating the market. We just became supplier of human resource. Now time has come that we should also create our own product and markets. And that is where the maturity of IT industry will come once they'll understand the new model of business or new method of business. So in disruptions, when you talk about digitalizations, it is going to happen every industry, including IT. Now, what will happen when the blockchain technology takes place in the entire business? The whole world will be integrated with one systems. And that is a great opportunity for Indian IT sector to create new business opportunities, providing services for the whole world market. I'm sure that is where the small town boys who are engineers or diploma holders can participate in a big way. And India should take that advantage in terms of digitalization because no country in the world can compete with India in the digital transformation services. And that is a great opportunity for India. And thanks to the pandemic, I think this opportunity is going to be accelerated much bigger way. Now, also you should remember the Charles Darwin theory that it is not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent, but most responsible to change. I think that is where I think the disruption we have to understand. Now, the second D, the disruption is all about decarbonizations. The entire business, since more and more digitalization happening, more and more energy will be required because we'll consume more and more energy to run our digital systems. Now, if we keep depending on oil, petroleum, and coal, I think the planet and the country will become non-livable. And therefore, we have no option but to shift to renewable and clean energy. So that is where I think we have to have a clear-cut strategy that I'm happy to know that Odisha government has come out with a policy of introducing electric vehicle. That's a great initiative. I think Odisha has been taking lead in many initiatives, and electric vehicle also, the government of Odisha has announced the new policies. I think that's the directions. Now, in order to support electric vehicle policies, I think the country has to also, the state has to also create infrastructure for charging stations for battery and distributions of batteries and replace all the petroleums and all other gas stations. That is how the change of disruptions are going to happen around decarbonizations. I think after 5 and 10 years, you will see that many of our existing industry doesn't appear, doesn't become visible, and new kind of business models will emerge. The third disruption which is going to happen is around democratization of business. The business will not be confined to the large corporates. The business will come down to every farmers, every drivers of Ola, every viewers. They will be the owner of business. And that is called the startup age. I think India is now world's third largest ecosystem in startups. I think we should become number one because we have a large number of startups, large number of entrepreneurs in every village. I would call every farmer as a kind of entrepreneurs because he does everything. He does production of grains. He also does sales of grains, but profit is lowest. I think that is where maximization of profit is required. And that is where the introduction of new technology, that is clean food or what is called green food or what is called in terms of your organic food. These are the new areas where agriculture India should take lead. I'm sure this kind of disruptions will be learned as part of this curriculum. And I'm sure these 9 mantras which I talked about, 3I, 3M, and 3D, this, if it is practiced properly in business and education industries, I'm sure the 17 SDG goal, that is Sustainable Development Goal of United Nations, that is no poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education to everyone, clean water, clean energy, innovation, etc., all can be achieved within these 9 mantras. I wish you all to make maximum and optimum use of next 2 years here in developing your managerial, entrepreneurial, and leadership capabilities and align yourself with the vision of IIM Sambalpur and become the responsible leader with entrepreneurial mindset. My best wishes to all those Executive MBA participants of class 2021-23. I'm sure you'll do pride for us and also for society at large. At the last, let me again thank everyone, our chief guest, Mr. Rajeev Dubey, our keynote speaker, Mr. Sandeep Tyagi, our all media friends who are present here. Many of you are present online, and participants of Executive MBA programs, alums of IIM Sambalpur, and all the well-wishers of IIM Sambalpur. Thank you very much for your presence and look forward to your support and guidance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Let me now take the privilege of introducing our keynote speaker, Mr. Sandeep Tyagi. Mr. Tyagi is the Director of Human Resources in Samsung Electronics. He currently heads the Business HR and Organization Development verticals for Samsung Electronics, looking after years of talent acquisition, talent management, talent retention, and learning and development. He has around 28 years of professional experience across sectors and has worked in companies like Delphi, Sony, Xerox, Airtel, and Videocon. He did his master's in business administration from FMS Delhi University. Mr. Tyagi is extremely passionate about creating possibilities by working his way through relationships and human psychology. Sir, we are delighted to have you here with us today. May I now request you to address the audience?
Thank you very much to all the esteemed guests at IIM Sambalpur's Executive MBA webinar. Honorable Director, sir, Honorable Mr. Rajeev Dubey, and Madam Shikha Bhardwaj. I'm really delighted to be here, part of this Executive MBA orientation program at IIM Sambalpur. So today, topic which you have kept is a very talked about topic in today's time, business transformation in a digital era. And this has gained much more relevance and prominence after the onset of COVID pandemic, which began last year. And the kind of transformation it has brought about in each one of our lives is humongous and unparalleled. So what I believe is, what I feel is, the changes which would have been possible in digital transformation in next 5 years has probably happened in 5 months. So that's the kind of speed and transformation which has taken place. Last night I was watching Baiju Ravindran, and it's probably one of the India's biggest unicorns till date, which is the most valued company. And what I heard was that in 5 years, they were able to gather about 40-45 million customers. But in the next 15 months, their total addition after the onset of COVID was about 65 million customers. So that's the speed at which the business has transformed, keeping the digital transformation in the focus, and digital transformation has become a key enabler in all the business processes now. India is on the cusp of a very big breakout as far as digital transformation is concerned. What some of the statistics tell us is that by 2025, we would be having 900 million customers, active users of internet customers, which will be there in India. And we will be the third largest online consumer shopping country in the world after US and China, with about 140 million users, shopper base of internet buying and internet behavior. So what digital transformation has brought about, especially after the COVID pandemic, is remarkable changes in the customer buying behavior, customer user experience, and the onset of new channels of selling in the whole business process. So there has been an eruption of omni-channel channel as a medium of selling, which is nothing but the combination of online and offline stores. So from digital to phygital is the new mantra. So what it connotes is that digital business will be synchronized with the offline channels of sales. So there is in industry, there is a huge rift between the online players and the offline players. Online players are your giants of the world, like Amazon or a Flipkart, and now some Indian startups have also come, Udan and all. So there's been a constant rift between the different business channels like Amazon and Flipkart and the offline. So we in Samsung, we have a large dealer base, about 150,000 alone for consumer electronics dealer base. And they are very, very important people for us, which typically is right now would be catering to about 80% of our sales. So the whole idea is that we cannot disrupt our traditional channel of sales with the coming up of online channels. But in light of all the business transformation, online channel sales is something which is the future and which is growing at a phenomenal pace of almost 30 to 40% year on year. So India is expected to kind of add about 140 billion turnover in next 3 to 4 years in terms of online shopping and online revenue. That is the kind of projections which, and Samsung alone is looking at almost $700 million kind of sales right alone from India itself. So that is the kind of potential which digital transformation has brought about. And this is being enabled with various government initiatives, whether it is BharatNet or laying the whole infrastructure pipeline of optic fibers across the India. So I think that will be a very big game changer once it comes through. So it's one of the prime projects of the Prime Minister. So we hope this goes through very fast. The second very significant change which also comes to our light is the adoption of digital processes, digital selling in tier 2 or tier 3 cities or towns. So our the kind of penetration digital has already, Amazon has probably reached the every nook and corner, every post office in the country. So that is a phenomenal success which digital transformation, and the number of users which are getting hooked up or are getting internet savvy in the rural areas is something very, very phenomenal. The third important point is around education. So with the pandemic, online education became a new normal, and students, my children, all of our, children of all our colleagues and all were all at home and studying from home because colleges had shut down. So online education has given a very big thrust to this digital transformation, in the sense that the different product categories like mobiles, the laptops, computer business has grown many folds. So much so that the Samsung, which had exited from laptop computer business, is now again bringing it back to India. So these are certain things, but along with this comes some challenges. And those challenges in education is not everybody can afford in India, especially the rural India countryside, the expensive gadgets like laptops or a mobile phone, smartphones for that matter. So it's created a big divide between an affluent India and a rural India, or a growing, emerging class. So we have to kind of, find out solutions. Maybe that is hybrid solutions, whether we'll have a proper mix of online and offline classrooms. So these are certain challenges because not everybody can afford these expensive gadgets in especially in Indian context. So these are certain challenges which have come across. Lastly, we are very strong on the learning space, and learning space has undergone a huge transformation. So we are a company where learning transformation, learning management systems were firmly in place, but the usage was very low. So the pandemic gave us an opportunity because, as everybody, the whole country was in a lockdown. So this gave us a chance to push through the online learning, make it popular, and we did a lot of marketing campaigns, a lot of branding campaigns, and online learning became the buzz of the time with courses of, say, lynda.com or a Harvard Management, Coursera, Udemy. So employees used this time to educate themselves, upskill themselves, and reskill themselves, so that with once the lockdown opened, once the situation became normal, uh, probably they can go to a different job or reskill them and take up a higher responsibility. So online learning became a very big buzzword, and our learning management systems were geared towards that and really helped in keeping people engaged, reskilling them, and upskilling them. So business transformation in digital era is already going growing leaps and bounds, and I feel it's going to be exploding in the near time. Now the paradox is, earlier we were not used to Zoom meetings or Google Meets or Microsoft Teams. Now we got so used to it. In Samsung, we have a portal, online portal called Knox, Knox. So it's something very similar to Zoom, even better than Zoom. But we never used it before pandemic. But so pandemic gave us this opportunity to explore our own systems, and now we got so used to them that even today, when we are in office or we are available for a face-to-face meeting, we prefer to uh, collaborate, share, and interact through our Knox portal, which is very similar to Zoom. So that is the kind of attitudinal changes which have been brought about. So I wish you all to have a great career and digital. Also, I'll just like to add that we did a competency mapping, competency survey in our organization. One competency which came out as the most important and most a competency which requires more development was digital competency, being digitally savvy. And since we are a tech company, we are a tech giant, and all our systems and processes are digitized, it's very important for our own people to at least be very good at those tech processes. So digital competency has internally been taken as a very big development area. We have 35,000 sales force across our partners, dealers, distributor network, and they are all connected on real-time basis through mobile phones, through an app that we call Smart Door. So today for us, existing without digital is just not even thinkable. So that's all what I wanted to just discuss with you about some of my thoughts and ideas. And I wish you have a great Executive MBA course here at IIM Sambalpur. And I wish IIM Sambalpur also great success in future. I hope to visit you someday. So thank you, Director, sir, and all my fellow esteemed guests here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It is indeed my proud privilege to introduce our chief guest of the day, Mr. Rajeev Dubey. Mr. Dubey has more than 4 decades of experience in leadership positions at several leading national and global corporations. He's a member of governing body of the International Labour Organization, Geneva. He currently serves as the chairman of Mahindra Insurance Brokers Limited, Mahindra Steel Service Center Limited, and Mahindra First Choice Wheels Limited. Also, he's a director on the board of the Fifth Gear Ventures Limited. In the past 17 years that he has been associated with the Mahindra Group, his key focus areas were human capital initiatives, group communications, government relations, CSR, and infrastructure. He served on the boards of several group companies, including Mahindra Retail and SsangYong Motors Korea. He joined Mahindra and Mahindra Limited in 2004 as an executive vice president and member of the group management board after a career spanning 29 years in the Tata Group. An economic honors graduate from Delhi University and postgraduate from the Yale School of Management, USA, Mr. Dubey is deeply interested in human potential development and the socio-cultural and economic evolution of society. It is an honor to have you here with us, sir. May I now request you to address the audience, please.
Please unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, great. So good afternoon, and thank you so much for inviting me. Dr. Jaiswal, Mr. Tyagi, Shikha, participants and faculty, ladies and gentlemen, my congratulations and salutations to all those who are involved in this fascinating journey that you're embarking on. I'm sure it will be a journey of magic, mysticism, learning, unlearning, relearning, discovery, and fun, I hope. I think Dr. Jaiswal mentioned fun also. That's important. Let me shine the light on the subject of transformation in a slightly different way. So first, I want to say that there are many forces of transformation. Technology is one of them, very important, all pervasive, but there are many others, and they've been referred to. There's demographic changes taking place, values, consumer preferences, geopolitical shifts, environmental pressures, and climate change. So it's all these plus a pushback by all stakeholders that defines the new normal in which leaders have to perform. Now, one thing is very clear to me, that given this uncertainty, given this new normal that I've just described, what organizations require is proactive and iterative decision-making at various points of the value chain, which means that the concept of leadership has to change. We have to go to what is known as distributed leadership. In addition, there is need for a deep connection with stakeholders, especially the consumer, but other stakeholders too, and that requires empathy and extreme care. Now, how do you create the conditions which lead to distributed leadership and extreme care? That's the subject that I want to talk about, and I really want to boil it down to 5 leadership behaviors, which I believe are going to be critical in this age of transformation, and which I would highly recommend to at least the participants to give a thought to. Now, the minute you say, how do you create distributed leadership and extreme care, which are 2 requirements for success, the question of what, why, how comes up. But I think before why, what, and how is really who am I, or who are we as an organization, which is really what is the purpose of the organization. And I think in the new normal, with so much change and volatility, the one thing that all leaders need to be very, very clear about, what is the purpose of our organization to exist? And once that purpose has been articulated, and once that purpose has been internalized, that is the mother's font, if you like, of strategy, structure, processes, metrics, and finally behavior the culture of the organization. So the first point I want to make is, please make sure you're clear and you are articulating your purpose. And this purpose must be the purpose and get internalized for all the members of the organization. Now, this core purpose will be achieved through continuous business transformation. Continuous business transformation has to rest on what I call cultural transformation. And culture really is nothing but the way we behave in everyday life, especially as we go around taking business decisions. And the mooring point or the source of all this is the purpose, and values are a core part. So it is the interplay, purpose, strategy, structure, processes, and metrics, business transformation based on cultural transformation, sitting on a bedrock of values. That's the overall frame. Now, let me not dwell too much on this whole business of culture, but I just want to say that culture depends and is heavily interrelated with strategy, and it is delivered through processes, systems, and metrics. But at the end of the day, it's all about human beings, and it's all about behavior. How do people behave? Because it is that behavior that creates business. You can take the same set of structures, processes, and metrics and put different behavior, you'll get completely different outputs. I've seen that. I used to think that leaders are irrelevant. There was a stage in my life when I thought it doesn't matter who the leader is. What matters is the strategy, structure, processes, and metrics. But what I have learned in the last 45, 46 years that I've been a corporate slave is that, yes, those things are necessary. But finally, what makes all the difference is the leadership and people. So let me now quickly move into describing or articulating the 5 leaderships that I think are going to be vital. 5 leadership, if you can call them attributes, you can call them behaviors, whatever, that doesn't matter. What are they? And now remember, the frame is the new normal: volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, and pushback, requiring distributed leadership and requiring empathy and deep connection with stakeholders. Now, which are the 5 leadership attributes? Number 1, ability to use the whole mind. The whole mind means you combine what is loosely referred to as the left brain with the right brain. The left brain is logic, intellect, rationality, programming, vital, necessary, but not sufficient in the new normal. You have to combine that with empathy, with connection, with intuition, the ability to connect the dots to see the big picture. In the new normal, the keys to the kingdom to come will lie with those leaders who seamlessly and effortlessly in any situation can use the whole mind, combining left brain and right brain. I move now to the second leadership attribute or behavior. I call it being a multiplier. Now, the mantra has to be to do more with less in the new normal. Multipliers are those who multiply energy, passion, engagement, a sense of ownership, a sense of having a purpose. How do you create leaders who are multipliers? Let me tell you the opposite end. The opposite of a multiplier is the extreme command and control type. The leader who is obsessed with the need to show, I have all the answers. I am the best in any situation. Do what I tell you to do. Such leaders, who were the paradigm of an earlier industrial age, will not work in the new normal. Such people are diminishers. They diminish energy. They diminish engagement. They diminish a sense of ownership. Now, multipliers are the opposite. They are as smart. They have as much knowledge, but they have the wisdom not to pretend to know that I have all the answers. They focus on asking the right questions. They listen. They respect the views of others. They focus on formulating the questions and then co-creating the answers with their team. Far from wanting to show that I am the best, they get joy in seeing 1,000 flowers bloom. And in the new normal, In the age of disruption and transformation, the second leadership behavior is to be a multiplier. I come now to the third behavior. It is to manage fear and leverage failure. In the VUCA world, with pushback, innovation is the key. I think innovation has been referred to by the director Sahib. How do you get innovation? You get innovation if you experiment, if you take risk. The biggest impediment to innovation and risk taking is the fear of failure. Now, fear is something that all of us live with and will always have. Leaders who rule by fear are going to make sure that people will not experiment, will not take risk. So we need leaders who, far from ruling by fear, will help people to overcome their fear. And not only that, by definition, when you take risk, at least 50% of the time, there will be failure. So in the new normal, what matters is not that you failed, but what you did after you failed. Did you learn from your failure? Did you leverage the learnings from failure to create the stepping stones to success? In modern management jargon, this is called rapid prototyping, early and cheap failure, quick feedback loop, and try again. I want your permission for a small quote on the importance of failure. This is from the Harvard commencement address of J.K. Rowling, who wrote the famous Harry Potter series. Here is the quote. It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. The knowledge that you will emerge wiser and stronger from setbacks, that you will never truly know yourself or the strength of your relationships until both have been tested by adversity. Such knowledge is a true gift. And even though painfully acquired, it has been worth more to me than any qualification I ever earned, unquote. I move now to the fourth attribute of behavior. I call it mindfulness. Now you'll say, oh, this Dadiwala is going out of hand. Mr. Dubey, if you want to be mindful, kindly go and sit in a cave in the Himalayas. Be as mindful as you want. We are a business school. Dhande ka baat karo. Business. Well, let me assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that you will not be able to go to any leadership program in any worthwhile place without hearing the word mindful. Okay, why mindful can mean many things. I'm not here to talk about the Bhagavad Gita or Buddhism, which are very dear to me. Just to say that mindfulness means being aware of all the possibilities that exist in any situation. Now, most of us are not aware of what is around us. We are not really listening. We are not really seeing because we are prisoners of our own past. We are seeing the world through a filter that has been created by our past, either success or failure, and we are unable to see the world as it exists, full of possibilities. Now, the starting point of any change, of any transformation, has to be the awareness that there is a possibility. So leaders who are not aware of the possibilities that exist can never be transformational. Therefore, it's very important for leaders to be mindful in the sense of being open to the possibilities, of not being a prisoner to their own past, and then deciding which of the possibilities, if any, they want to create into a reality. So this is about mindfulness. I don't know whether I have another 4 or 5 minutes, Shikha, so maybe I can give you a quick quote. Look well to this day, for in its short course lie all the realities and verities of existence. The splendor of action, the glory of achievement, the sorrow of loss and separation, the joy of giving. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Such is my salutation to the dawn. That's Kalidas for you. What a simple exposition of being able to be in the present, in the here and now, open to all possibilities. I move now to the last, thank God, Dadiwala is going to stop now. Last but not least of the 5 behaviors, to create trust. You can do everything else that I've talked about, but if as a leader you have not created an ambience, a culture, an energy of trust in the organization, nothing transformational will happen on a sustained basis. Now, how do you create trust? My view, I have a simple but not simplistic view. Of course, you need competency. Certainly, you wouldn't make it unless you have competency, but perhaps more important than technical competency in accounting or finance or marketing is authenticity. Do I say what I think and do I do what I say? It is the congruence of thinking, saying, and doing again and again and again, which creates trust. It is, if you like, about speaking the truth and then acting on it. It is about walking the talk. It is about removing the mask, having the courage to be who I am with my strengths and equally with my weaknesses. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to recap the 5 behaviors which I think are vital for leadership in the age of disruption and transformation. Number 1, the ability to use the whole mind to connect left and right brain in any situation. Number 2, to be a multiplier of energy, passion, engagement by listening, by respecting and not wanting to command and control. Number 3, knowing how to manage fear and leverage failure to enable innovation to take place. Number 4, being mindful in the sense of being open to all possibilities and not being a prisoner of the past. And last but not least, to create trust through authenticity. Now, if I were to try and write an article for the Harvard Business Review, which I'm not capable of doing, I would say that transformational leaders are led by purpose, have the ability to combine knowledge, which is knowing, with doing, which is implementation, and aligning these two with their being, their inner space, their purpose, the dream. So transformational leaders are led by purpose and know how to combine knowing, doing, and being to create passion, to create meaning for the people in their organization so that they can address the triple bottom line of people, profit, and planet. And finally, as you do these things, 3 things that I would urge all of you who are no doubt going to be transformational leaders of tomorrow, never to forget: Satya, Prem, and Seva. Satya means to speak the truth, regardless of the consequences, but not to speak it in a harsh way. You know, sometimes people use this Satya to say, to be harsh and to be abrasive. I'm not saying that. Speak the truth, speak it gently, but speak the truth. Number 2, Prem, compassion, the ability to put myself into the shoes of the other person. So important. I talked about empathy, extreme care, knowing the mind of the stakeholders. You cannot have that unless you have the ability to be compassionate in the sense of being able to put myself into the shoes of the other person. And finally, Seva, service, Seva Bhavna. Now, I could go on and on about Satya, Prem, and Seva. They rule my life, but I'm coming to the end of my time. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I congratulate all of you, faculty, participants, anyone else who has been involved. I hope you have a great journey ahead, and may it be a magical, mystical, and fun journey with lots of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Good luck and God bless.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with your words. Now, we would like to hear from few of our Executive MBA participants, starting with Mr. Dheeraj S.
Sir, you're on mute.
Thank you. A very warm greetings to the dignitary guests, respected directors, sir, and professors, students, EMBA batchmates of mine at IIM Sambalpur, and whoever witnessing the event at this point of time. I am Dheeraj Sunkara, an engineering graduate from University of Madras Information Technology. Currently, I am associated with IBM as an industrial consultant, and I am currently taken the Executive MBA batch program for 21-23. Well, why IIM Sambalpur? There were multiple reasons for choosing IIM Sambalpur, but the primary reasons being the core structure, program structure, which has been provided for the working professionals. Besides that, the institution's vision and mission to make entrepreneurial leaders of tomorrow with the core values, innovation, integrity, and inclusiveness, which made me eager and enthusiastic to be part of this institution. What's the expectation out of the program? Well, me being from the engineering background and relevant work experience which I had gained, I would like to enhance my skill set in strategy, analytics, finance, economy, resource management, so that I can leverage my skills with the best of the abilities to the organization and clients which I work for and have an entrepreneurial mindset without compromising on the fundamentals. With this, I conclude and thank you very much, Shika Bharadwaj ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to preside over in this auspicious event. Thank you very much and wishing all of us the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on to Ms. Pragya Paramita Pradhan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. My name is Pragya Paramita Pradhan, and I am from Bhubaneswar. I have completed my bachelor's in electronics and electrical from KIT University. I have total of 12 years of experience, and I'm working in Tata Consultancy Services. Okay, why IIM Sambalpur and why this program? I was looking for a program with which I can achieve my ambition of doing in management studies without hampering my personal and professional priorities. And the structure of this program is perfect for me. So I have taken this program. And again, the program, the curriculum of this program include the digital innovation trends, which will definitely add value to my professional career. And I'm looking forward to the beautiful learning journey here. And thank you, Sikha Gupta ma'am, for Bharadwaj ma'am, for providing me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Pragya. Moving on to Mr. Ankit Gite.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. The companies are transforming business and the way of working with the digital product and the digital transformation in this COVID era. I am Ankit Gite, working as an associate director in pharmaceutical company. I'm currently based in Germany. I choose IIM Sambalpur because it offers a comprehensive program which focus on the digital transformation and entrepreneurship. This program gives me opportunity to continue and lead my digital initiatives in my company, as well as at the same time, it provides me opportunity to advance my leadership skills, to discover new perspective from the diverse peer group. I have around 8 years of experience in pharmaceutical industry, and I have worked in both scientific as well as digital transformation side of the business. The EMBA program deliverables and contents are well synced with my long-term vision to become a future leader for innovation and digitalization in pharmaceutical industries. On the other side, this EMBA program offers a unique, innovative, flipped classroom pedagogy, which enable more discussion, brainstorming, and give opportunity to work on the industrial live projects. At the same time, fundamentals or the traditional way of teaching will be taught us by digital content or as a homework. This will enhance the creativity and problem solving skill, which is critical for the future, and it is need of the hour. I'm confident that the CEO immersion in this EMBA program will help us to develop ourselves as a future business leaders and executive. I'm excited and looking forward to join this transformative journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ankit. To conclude, may I now request Professor Merlin Nandi, Chairperson, PGP, to present a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Heartiest congratulations to the first batch of Executive MBA program. It gives me immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks today on this occasion. I would first like to express my gratitude to our chief guest, Mr. Rajeev Dubey, for gracing today's event. Your emphasis, sir, on proactive and iterative decision-making, mindfulness as a leadership trait during this age of transformation deserves particular mention. Thank you, sir, for your interesting and thought-provoking address. as we venture into the world of executive management education. The program indeed stresses on innovative approach, experiential learning to make a positive impact on the managerial career of the participants who are going to be part of this program. I would also like to thank our keynote speaker, Mr. Sandeep Tyagi, for sharing his knowledge and opinion on the various industry changes that we are seeing today, such as omni-channel selling, changes in the customer buying behavior, digital penetration in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, particularly in the area of education. The program indeed lays emphasis on business transformation in the digital era. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to our director, Professor Jaiswal, for his presence, unstinting guidance, and continuous encouragement throughout the journey from ideation to the launch of the program. I thank the Executive MBA Committee Chairperson, Professor Shikha, members of the committee, Professor Deepti Ranjan, Professor Sakhi, Mr. Mahesh, Ms. Sumedha. Special thanks to the placement team and PR team, and of course, our student coordinators. I also take this opportunity to extend a sincere thanks to the media representatives for providing the coverage to this event. Last but not the least, I thank my faculty colleagues, dear students, and all the staff of IIM Sambalpur for their support in organizing and participating in this event. Thank you to all the guests as well. And particular thanks to Dheeraj, Pragya, and Ankit for sharing your experiences so far. I hope you have a great 2 years ahead. My best wishes to all the participants of the Executive MBA program, and welcome to the IIM Sambalpur family. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Merlin. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us in the inaugural session of the Executive MBA program. Now we'll be moving for a lunch break. We shall meet post-lunch at 2 p.m. We request faculty members, staff members, and participants to join 5 minutes prior to the mentioned time. Looking forward to meet you all in the second half. I request all the faculty members, staff members, and students to come forward for a batch photograph. Till the time photograph is done, please be seated.